There was once a man that didn't know the meaning of love. He was quite a bashful young lad and he never really spoke much, his demeanor all deductive and feeble. He was the type of guy that always waited last when it came to getting one's fair share. To add to his already vulnerable character, he had recently had a constitution crippling occurrence. A heartbreak that had him, to say the least, utterly mentally devastated. He didn't know what to do with his life past that point of spiritual and psychological deterioration. He felt as if a cancer was slowly encasing his being from the inside, and a grave condition started gradually taking over: depression. From that point on, truth morphed into obsession, and many nights were spent contemplating and trying to figure out the whens, the whats, and the whys. When did the cheating start? What did I do wrong? Why did this happen? And all the malignant seeds started infesting within his brain, almost like seeds burrowing into soil. He wanted answers to questions that were as trifling as the answers themselves. So one fateful day, as every normal and sane person would do, he embarked on a journey across the land to find out what the meaning of love was. He went around asking various townfolk and all kinds of people if they had any answers. Some declined, some cooperated, not sure what to say, and some were adamant that they had the answer to his question. He kept hearing all sorts of fallacies and fabrications like love is a dance, love is a flow, love is war, love is faith, love is sacrifice, love is this, love is that. But no answer was adequate enough, nor did it quench his thirst for fact. But to his surprise, during one of his morning jogs, he met a lady sat in front of him on a bench. She was swathed in a bright apricot dress and had a stunning glossy-like skin texture. "Excuse me, but is there any chance you know what the meaning of love is?" he asked the beautiful lady. "I myself don't know it, but I do know a monk who possesses the key to that question," the lady stated. "You will want to climb the mountains of Thailand, there where the water flows. A monk will be praying to the waters. He will have the answer to your question," the lady said. And the young lad then found his way to Thailand and started asking various folk about the monk's location. Some declined, some cooperated, not sure what to say, and some were adamant that they knew where the monk was situated. One day, during his nightly jog— wow, this man really loves his jogs, doesn't he? Shut up and finish the story, for fuck's sake. He encountered a man, his wear conspicuous and luminous, drenched in the color black, and covered with a sense of malice. The dark figure asked him if he wanted to know what the monk's location was, and after a long talk with the man, he followed the path he was told to follow, and climbed the mountain, and descended to a valley. There he found the monk sitting in silence, his hands clenched, praying to the flowing waters. The young man went to speak, but the monk signaled him to shut up. The young lad sat there for 3 whole days and 3 whole nights, waiting for some sort of response. On the 4th day, the monk told the lad to speak. The young man asked him what the meaning of love was. The monk, all wise and wrinkled in the face, looked at the young man, then looked back down at the waters. "Well, you see, boy, the meaning of love can be found within these waters," the monk said. "Wait, really?" the young man asked with a brimming sense of excitement. "Is it really the waters?" And the monk said, "It isn't? I don't fucking know. I'm a monk, not the oracle of life." So that's that. Moral of the story: love is a bitch. Thailand is not the place to go if searching for the meaning of love. Don't do drugs. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot the deeper meaning. Nobody knows what the fucking meaning of love is, and if you claim to know, you're an idiot, and apparently all of us are idiots. Sure, love can be explained scientifically because, well, science and stuff, chemicals react at certain moments when we see a good partner because that's how we evolved as a species and so on. X person has Y pros, which equals good for mating, which equals attraction. Yay. But when it comes to the emotional level and the intersocial aspects of love, most of us don't have a flying fuck of a clue of what we're doing. Just like the monk who supposedly knew what the meaning of love was, he himself didn't have a flying fuck of a clue of what he was talking about. Despite all that, sometimes experience tells a greater truth than the truth itself. So let's talk about experiences, shall we? Ah yes, falling in love. Most of us have experienced this sensation already, and if you haven't, trust me, it's coming your way soon enough. It's a sensation second to none. No drugs can beat it, no high can beat it because, well, it's a high in and of itself, and no emotion can beat it. And if you have felt love, not just attraction, love as a sensation, you can confidently vouch that what I said is true. It's a feeling that makes you feel invincible, like you have a fortress of positivity shielding you from any naysayers. You feel like you can accomplish any task you set out to do. Color is brighter, conversations are funnier. A bad day feels like a walk in the park because, well, what even is a bad day to love? It's something that we can't really describe because if we were to describe it, we would be doing an injustice to the real deal. What I'm about to say is most likely going to make my future self cringe beyond comprehension, but I'll say it anyway. My love life, if you can call it that, has been embarrassing. I've had one real relationship, and even that was probably far from the truth. It sounds silly to me now, but back when I quote unquote fell in love, I honestly thought, this is it. She's the one, and I will never have any bad days ever again. There was this girl at my school. Well, there is this girl. Saying was sounds like she's dead, but I mean, sure. There was this girl at my school that liked me. How did I know that? Blackmail. Nah, just kidding. Some friends had told me that, but either way, I knew that she liked me. And being myself, I fell in love with her because it was the first time somebody I liked me back. I don't know if it was the way she acted around me or what. All I knew is that every time I saw her, I had a burning, gut-wrenching sensation in my stomach that just exhilarated me beyond belief. The sensation of feeling like you can conquer the world ironically and ultimately conquers you. And so thinking I was invincible, I started doing stupid things. I started disregarding her altogether because at that point I wasn't in love with her, I was in love with being in love. And slowly but surely I grasped that not only was I losing her, but I was losing myself. My in-love self, that is. At the end, after a few months of painstaking awkwardness and just not knowing what to do, we split up and now she has become this weird reminder, to me at least, of how easily love can deceive you. I thought I had the answers, I thought I was the monk. But soon enough I was going to realize that there are no monks. I couldn't get over the fact that I had fallen from such a soaring height, and suppressing all of that emotion only made it worse. If love is a drug, heartbreak is the overdose. At the end of the day, just like Cole said, everything must come back around full circle. And if you are in love and think that she's the one or he's the one, congratulations, you have achieved the first and last step to heartbreak. Humans are variable, they tend to fluctuate in unpredictable manners. Some days can be great days, some days can be downright awful. While you are in the state of tranquility and cloud nine, you lose a sense of where you stand. You completely neglect the pedestal that got you to the state of joy in the first place, and so since you completely overlook the crumbling of the pedestal, you fail to brace for impact and come crashing down into a realization that the feeling was not going to last forever. It's not really the crashing down part that knocks the stuffing out of you, it's the fact that you knew you could have braced for impact. You knew you could have seen it coming. You knew you could have prepared for the fall, but you didn't. It's that realization of how stupid you were for believing, for hoping. So, what does that leave us with? Is it just hopeless to love? Is it doomed to end? Not really. What I just described was a cycle, an inevitable rise and then a fall. But in the midst of all the chaos, between all the dead ends and all the rubble, there is a shining light. That shining light, that bright beam that can break the cycle of love, is ironically love itself. Not necessarily the same iteration, though. In the words of Abraham Tversky, so much of what is love is fish love. When a man eats a fish, he says he loves the fish. But does he really? No. He loves what the fish provides him with. And that's the cycle of love. Young man falls in love with young woman. The young man loves the young woman. Yes, but let's rephrase that, shall we? The young man loves what the young woman provides him with. She provides him with all his physical and emotional needs. But there is something called true love. And how does true love come about, you may ask? Giving. That is how it comes about. You give to those whom you love. Wrong. You love those to whom you give. Because once you give to the other, you have effectively given yourself. You have invested in them. You have transcended the mere "what can you offer me?" and have reached the point where you can say, "I will give you," without any expectations. And through this transcendence, we also surpass the need to correlate love to an emotion. At that point, love isn't an emotion, it's an action. It's a do, not a feel. And that is probably the closest meaning we will ever get to love. Love is an art of giving, and it's up to you to start painting. After all, it is your canvas. And don't worry if you can't find a partner to give to. You always have your friends. And what is love to friendship? Am I right? And if you don't have friends, I'll be waiting here. Waiting for love, of course.